Ladies and gentlemen, we ended Friday's show with the WVWF Tag Team Champions, Cease and Desist, the Rare Bird Chris Phoenix, and Hype Man Dan Lasers. And one of the things that we ended the show with was our guest. Our guest, who we know has obviously put Dave Meltzer to shame. She's obviously put other content creators to shame. But she is now in the business of doing what yours truly is doing. And I heard that introduction. In fact, everybody heard that introduction on YouTube where she introduced the draw. Obviously, she said plenty about chaos and Courtney. It's Aaron James, our reigning defending WVWF champion, but she even had to introduce a controversy king. Yeah, we'll talk about that introduction, and maybe will she then, coming up in 13 days, introduce the WVWF Tag Team Champions, but maybe those tag team champions are going to need her introduction because they've got a tough test. And I'm going to talk about that, especially one of those individuals who has been around the block, and another one that, well, let's just say he's going to hit you like a bam, bam. We'll get into that. We'll also talk about what is going on with the draw these days, because apparently there was a plan that Cease and Desist had that, well, it drew up that, well, it's made a steal and Nate Steele, and now it looks like the draw is drawing blanks. I'm going to get into that. I'm also going to get into a Pro Wrestling Wire article recently about a collective, and then maybe before that a documentary from a guy that came on here. Yeah, we're going to get into all of that, and maybe we'll even talk about how this young lady was right all along. No, we're not talking about what you think you've heard on Facebook, but, well, maybe she was right on that too, but maybe about Brittany Storm and the collective, I guess. Maybe the likes of Ampo the Destroyer, Dave Jameson, the Banana Man Lestat, and especially Daniel Tafura should have listened, but after all, after Ampo's comments, I got to get this young lady's comments. Now, I know that she's in the business of doing introductions now, and I know that she's the best in the business when it comes to that. Now, I know that she's the best in the business when it comes to reviewing wrestling shows and writing up about all of our greats in the WVWF, and I now must give her that introduction, her final one that she's going to get here this year. I hope that she'll come back on in 2026. I hope that she'll give me that opportunity, unlike some other places that have been mentioned recently, we shall not name, because after all, we are the only platform, I want to be pointing out, ladies and gentlemen, the only platform where all wrestling matters. All wrestling matters. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this show off here in style on Sportzwire Radio, the number one global radio station where all music, all sports, and all wrestling matters. So with that, without further ado, here on the Sports Report, number one cable sports show. She's the best in the business when it comes to writing wrestling reviews. She's the best in the business when it comes to covering all the independent wrestling shows that there is out there. And she's going to give us the 5 when it comes to this introduction, because even though she doesn't want to hear it, she is the female Dave Meltzer. Her name is, simply put, the one and only Courtney. Woo! My friend, how are we doing?
I'm doing very well. It's always a nice time when I'm proven right. It's nice And it's nice to see you. That's very important.
Well, I think really what's important is you want to tell everybody why you've been right these last, I don't know, 6, 7+ months about the collective and Brittany Storm. That's really the reason why you're here tonight.
It is.
There's a lot of reasons actually you're here, but that is definitely one of them. We did kind of talk about that aside from your introduction skills, but that was a big topic on Friday's show when you were here. I mean, obviously, I'm sure you want to certainly tell everybody, yeah, I told you so.
Oh, I do. And I've earned that right. See, it really hurt my heart to have my son, Day Jameson, on your platform calling me a bully.
He did. He did say that, yeah, a week and a half ago. He did say that. I mean, he has his reason, but, Day is an interesting fellow. I mean, I definitely don't want to get on his wrong side. I mean, I've seen that firsthand, and I've seen that firsthand, as we all have on Facebook. So, he had his reason. At least he didn't do a Facebook Live about it.
That's true. Those are pretty dangerous. But,
very dangerous.
I'm just curious what he's saying now. Because I've told people, and it wasn't 6 or 7 months. I've been saying this about her for years. I've been saying it for so long. No one listened. And now look.
Well, I mean, look. All right, we'll get right into it. I mean, look, here's what it comes down to. The collective have been very successful collectively. We know about the Banana Man Lestat. He's got tag team championship gold with Ampo Destroyer. He's got the MVP championship. Day Jameson now is basically doing his version of Kenny Omega. Then you've got Ampo, who I just mentioned, who's got 2 separate sets of tag team championships. Then you've got also Samoan 2 belts. Daniel Tafua! So, I mean, if they thought that they could turn Brittany Storm into a belt collector in one of them, I mean, with the success they've had over the past year, in their defense, because I'd like them to come back on Sportswire, certainly, and I don't want to be on Day's wrong side of those Facebook Lives. I mean, you can't blame them.
I absolutely can. They knew what they were dealing with, and they had somebody with a proven track record telling them what was happening. Like, was I not right about William Renee being a scumbag? Of course I was.
Well,
they didn't listen. They didn't listen to that either.
Well, I guess William Renee is a completely different individual. I know, former collective member. You wrote about, and you've talked at length about him, and Mr. Renee did famously. I mean, I want to remind you, since there are some people here that know William Renee, he did once compare himself to a young Kobe Bryant. He did compare himself here famously to the next Kobe Bryant. He has that Mamba mentality. I mean, maybe he'll win an Oscar like Kobe did.
It's delusional.
What do they call it? Delusions of grandeur. You have a couple of degrees. You've probably done like research studies on it.
That's true. That is what it's called. It's ridiculous. And Brittany Storm had delusions of mediocrity. Proven incorrect. I was right.
Well, look, I think ultimately you want that success to rub off. And we've seen with the Banana Man Lestat, Ampo, Day Jameson, and yes, Daniel Tafua. So you're hoping that success rubs off on you. It was like famously in baseball, once upon a time, there was the Atlanta Braves in the all throughout the 1990s into the 2000s. They were considered to have the best pitching staff in baseball. Didn't matter who was in the rotation. It was Kevin Millwood, Denny Nagel, Greg Maddux, certainly Tom Glavine, John Smoltz, Steve Abram. You could go up and down the list. I'm missing other stars. Mike Hampton came there once upon a time. It didn't matter anybody that was in the rotation. Well, the success rubbed off on them because they had Glavine, they had Maddux, and they had Smoltz. And I guess, and to take it back here in 2025, Brittany Storm was hoping to have the same success. But, well, Brittany Storm, to quote somebody in a band from Dee Snider of Twisted Sister, we're not gonna take it. No, we're not gonna take it from playing second fiddle in the collective. I mean, that's basically what we saw a week and a half ago.
Second fiddle. She was lucky to even be in the band.
Well, I had to think of something. I did that completely. I ad-libbed that, and I had to think of something off the top of my head. I could have probably said like fourth fiddle, but I mean, listen, what can you do? I tried.
No. Can you just imagine being as unlikable as Britney Storm and then having
Oh,
the
that's too harsh.
audacity?
That now you're sounding like people on Facebook. Now that's a bit harsh. That she's likable. Come on, she's
No,
likable. She
no.
tries. I mean, she had tried. She tried as hard as she could. She gave it the old college try. You're a college grad, right? Remember in college, they told us give us the old college try. She was trying.
No, because I was actually successful. She's
Well,
not. There's a
well,
difference.
well, the judge certainly is out. It remains to be seen, but it seems like right now there is a lot of problems in the collective right now, and it doesn't seem like there's any going back at this point.
It's ingratitude. They gave her everything. And she was
Yeah.
like, no, I don't want it. Ridiculous.
Maybe she
Just
wanted to
ridiculous.
go her own way. Maybe she felt the time was now to go out there and have her own trick. Remember in The Lion King where, obviously, what was it? Simba had to go out on his own and Britney Storm without having that same success. I mean, I wouldn't confuse Ampo quite with James Earl Jones's voice, but, there's the same kind of leadership. Only with the
It is. It is because Ampo's been the leader, the anchor of it. You have all
he's
of
trained.
these.
He's trained. He's helped train Day and certainly Tafua, and he's been the anchor. He's been the calming force. But right now, it seems like Britney Storm wants to show everybody that she can do this on her own. I guess.
Which normally I would respect. I appreciate the fire. It's been what I've been trying to get out of her for all of these months. But it's just like you go about it the right way. You didn't have to burn that bridge. You didn't have to disrespect the people that have been there for you. You could have had that meeting behind closed doors and go off. I mean, think about it. They're all in different divisions.
Yeah,
they were never going to interact anyway. The only reason they had interaction was when Tafua was generous enough to bail her out of a problem that her mouth got her into. But it's not like they were ever going to have any other overlapping business. So why couldn't she just say, hey, I want to try this on my own? No,
maybe she felt her place wasn't for that. I guess. I don't know. I mean, you know them better than me. Maybe she felt her place was to be on the outside. Maybe she felt she couldn't do that, and she lashed out in the way that she's also, youthful. She's got that inexperience, and she's not quite as maybe mature as even the likes of Day Jameson. And maybe she felt this is her way of proving herself. I guess. I mean, you know better than me. You know all of them.
That's just a nice way of saying she threw a temper tantrum.
Well, I mean, it is 2025, and we are certainly not trying to be a part of the cancel culture. And I mean, hey, if it works, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what else to say, but they're going to certainly have a different collective going forward. And I guess we'll have to see what Britney Storm does in the future. I'm sure that you'd be watching from afar. I mean, if I could ask you, and I know you're always right. Now, I know I did promise I would say that, and I know that you're going to say that throughout the conversation. You have some people here in the chat, people are watching this, definitely I understand that. But if you had any advice for Britney Storm, if you were so kind, had any advice for Britney Storm, what would it be?
Keep that attitude up and direct it at whoever's across from you in the ring. That fire, that anger, that energy, that's what's going to take you past wherever slump you're in right now. So you keep that up, but you direct it at people that deserve it. And as for the collective, they might be hurting, but with her gone, that's addition by subtraction. They're going to be better off without her.
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be addition by subtraction. I mean, Ampo was saying that families fight, and unfortunately, families like this one had a dispute in public. I mean, maybe they're going to try to pick up the pieces here. I mean, Ampo is certainly that calming force, and he's a leader, and maybe they can salvage this still.
Why would you want to, though? The families fighting thing was the triple threat for both Lestat's championships. Yeah. Because combat is a language that they all speak.
Yeah, they
Brittany
talked about
Storm
that.
was
Yeah,
just
Kelly Fire. Yeah.
Brittany was just ungrateful.
Well, I mean, I think maybe Ampo sees that there's something in her still that what we saw last week in Parkersburg maybe can be unleashed on her opponents more successfully in 2026, and that's as to why maybe he wants to keep her around. I guess.
If only there was a well-educated, well-spoken figure in this little world that was trying to get the fire out of her this whole time. If only somebody cared enough to give their time to do that.
That was a shot fired there. You see the shot sound, but that sounds interesting because you sound like maybe you would want to talk to Brittany Storm as to why I asked that question about advice, and you obviously certainly have a lot of knowledge about the wrestling world. You are a lot more educated than most of us out there, and maybe who knows if Brittany Storm would maybe be interested in that. I don't know. I mean that sounds like maybe that's a possibility if that were to see the stars align.
That's a very interesting prospect because she's clearly at a place she's never been at before. So maybe she would be a little receptive to a little guidance.
Now, would she have? Would she have to 5 to maybe accept or think about this, or less than 5?
You always have till 5. Those are the rules.
I had to throw that in there. It was right there for me. But no, I mean, look, it's a really interesting situation. But speaking of other groups, I really want to get your perspective on WVWF is the draw. Now, Cease and Desist Radio, I'm going to definitely talk a lot about them tonight. And, we were talking about Nate Steele. And Nate Steele is no longer in the draw. And it seems like if you ask Cease and Desist, the Rarebird, Chris Phoenix, and Hype Man Dan Lasers, Miss Courtney Wood, Nate Steele may have never been in the draw. And funny, the words of the controversy king, Wyatt Black, came to haunt him and some. Because, as you remember, last week on Sportswire, Wyatt Black was here and basically he didn't like Nate Steele, didn't trust him. He had to prove himself. And with that, plus, I guess you might want to say the plan that was drawn up by Cease and Desist. I mean, I certainly didn't see that one coming. You were there, and it looks to me like maybe Nate Steele was never even a part of the draw. And Cease and Desist, they outsmarted all of us. What do you think about all that?
If that is what happened, that's absolutely brilliant. I quite frankly don't understand what was going on. I actually understand why Wyatt had no trust in Nate Steele because they have been fighting forever. Whether it be the syndicate versus the SBI, like there's been so many different iterations of this feud that Wyatt Black has fought Nate Steele forever. Yeah. So yeah, why would he trust them?
But Aaron James and Tony Sane seem to be fine with him, and he was the Mountain State champion. And in previous episodes, we know that the draw has long been looking to expand, and they've been long looking to take over the WVWF. But if you asked again, Hype Man Dan Lasers and the Rarebird Chris Phoenix, they knew what they were doing, and this was a plan all along. And Nate Steele certainly, even though it was an L at the behest of the WWF, and especially Hype Man Dan Lasers, at the end of the day, Nate Steele is now against the draw, and I have no idea how the draw now has to deal with this numbers game against them.
I have no idea. That was like their biggest advantage was their numbers game. That's the game they've been playing this whole time. And, Cease and Desist were probably on the, tired of getting beat up all the time. So they needed to do something. So they did like a Trojan horse into the draw. I wish I could say something about that. As a strategist, I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, it's almost like taking within, almost basically the enemy within, and that's what Nate Steele was. He was an enemy within, and he infiltrated the group. It almost reminds me of the movie Donnie Brasco. I mean, famously, where Johnny Depp is in there to take down the mob, and he plays the part, and Al Pacino believes him in everything, and I guess Nate Steele. Definitely played that role to a T, and now the WVWF team WVWF has the draw on its heels right now. Who knows about the controversy, King? And speaking of Wyatt Black, another thing he said, he's always saying things, always saying plenty of things. And I know that pains you to hear his name, pains you to hear that name, Wyatt Black, the controversy King. But now he's got his sights set on Samoan two belts. Daniel Tafuan! And what do you think about that? Because you were talking a lot about that in the chat on Friday, and now we also know one of your other favorites is going to be in that match, one Phoebe Harper. And what do you think happens there? And now the controversy King, Wyatt Black, has got another wish granted to him, but this time it's going to come on in a full head-on collision with the one and only Universal Champion of the USWA and our new WVWF Hybrid Champion, Samoan two belts, the Samoan Nightmare, Daniel Tafua.
Well, I think we're going to have two new champions in Phoebe Harper. She is amazing. It is her time.
Mm-hmm.
As far as Wyatt Black goes, kid's insane. The collective were sitting there embracing Tafua with his amazing accomplishment, his hard-earned victory. And this kid strolls into the ring and decides to pick a fight with Tafua. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, that's what he's always done. He has never been afraid to take on those that people say he shouldn't have any business being out there with. You got to give him that, despite what anything's been said about him over the past year. And he does hold a pinfall victory over one Day Jameson. Yes, the man that called you a bully. So I don't know if I agree with everything Wyatt Black does, but he does try. He certainly, it may to quote 50 Cent, he may, I guess, get rich or die trying. He may die trying, certainly. That's for sure.
That's definitely what's going to happen. I mean, you're messing with Tafua. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. I mean, Tafua was one of my favorites here on Sportswire. I mean, for obvious reasons. But Wyatt Black now thinks that he's going to finally recapture the Hybrid Championship. Remember that?
Recapture implies that he never had it to begin with. Well, grammar is important.
Now, last time he was here last week, he did still claim to be the youngest hybrid champion in history.
I can claim to be whatever I want. It doesn't make it true.
Well, you've been very successful. I would say you have multiple degrees. We believe you. We believe that you've written for Pro Wrestling Wire. I have the proof for that. But, I mean, Wyatt Black did hold and capture and claim the hybrid championship before the match was restarted by Double L back in May. I mean, that's just,
he held the championship belt, as in it was something physically, tangibly in his hand. He was never the champion.
Well, whatever it is, he's claiming that he wants it back, and he's got what he wanted. And there's another person in the match as well. I think Taxi's in it, right? And that's another component there. Who knows what happens there? And I mean, what do you think? I mean, Daniel Tafua is a fighting champion. This is a man that you would think, after what he went through with James Enoch, the Chemical Valley Gunslinger, especially what's going on with the collective, that maybe he would take a couple days off. Maybe he would go out there and who knows, whatever else he does as Samoan Nightmare. But no, he's coming right back here to 325 7th Street, the Richardson Building in Parkersburg, West Virginia, and he's putting up those two championships, and he's only got a 25% chance of keeping them. I mean, what are your thoughts on those odds?
Oh, are you asking me Steiner math?
No, we have a guy that comes on here named the Psychotic Freak, and he has this thing called the Freak Math, and it goes into like 2,000% chances. But I'm not going to ask you about math because I know you've got multiple degrees. You got the best skills, but no, you got 2 degrees. But what I will ask you is Daniel Tafua, I mean, is he thinking by going out there once again after what he went through with James Enoch and now wrestling 3 different opponents?
I mean, that's just how Tafua is.
I
He's not
know.
going to back down. I mean, we had this discussion when he faced the Soul Taker.
I remember.
He does not back down. And you've been around wrestling forever. You know that many real champions say once you win the championship, that's when the hard work actually
I say it
starts.
all the time on here. Listen, now you go from the hunter to the hunted. I mean, you are the hunted, and the first title defense is always the most difficult defense, and he's got that, especially with this hybrid championship. Phoebe Harper, your favorite. I mean, Phoebe's got a huge opportunity, and maybe Phoebe wrestling for herself is a lot different than wrestling with somebody. And another one of your favorites, Godric Sandwell, where, let's just say that they're not exactly peanut butter and jealous, but I mean, nevertheless, maybe this opportunity sparks her. And then, there's Taxi, and then there's one Wyatt Black. So maybe this is an opportunity for a Phoebe Harper, as you stated, to walk out as a stars align for her being a double champion. Get it? Stars align, double champion.
As she should. See, she's already a multiple-time champion in my mind, so it's just about time the rest of the world catches up. I will say, Taxi is the one you have to watch in that match.
He's a wild card. He's a wild card with an experience for what he's done out there in the ring. He's a veteran, and he's the guy that has the most experience here. And he walks right into an opportunity, and he could certainly walk away with both those championships. It would be very believable. I mean, he might be the guy that I would say right now is the most dangerous of anybody else for Tafua.
And he is a hater. We've seen what 50 Cent has been doing this whole year. That has been Taxi to Josh Jade. He has that same energy, and that has fueled him through an injury.
Well,
I would not. I might not be surprised.
But I would hope that for our sakes here, that Josh Jade hasn't been to any freak offs. I mean, certainly 50 Cent has been talking about a lot of those with Diddy. But I mean, I get the point. But I mean, what a way to start 2026 for Taxi. I mean, to drive in here and take away not one but two championships and prove a point.
Yeah.
I guess we'll have to find out, and I mean, certainly we'll do that. We'll get to the chat shortly, and I was also wondering. Speaking of Godric Sandwell, Godric is back on here next Tuesday, and he'll have some things to say about. Yeah, he'll be here, but I don't think the stars align for him to win tag team gold anytime soon. But what do you think happens with the gentleman of exquisite caliber in this? I don't know what you want to call him and Phoebe Harper. The stars certainly didn't align for them to win those tag team championships. Just saying.
It was a shame. We saw in that match, you could see signs of the other one. Like, Godric was wrestling a little differently than he's ever wrestled.
Yep.
And we saw Phoebe shake Chris Phoenix's hand.
Yes.
So we're seeing them influence each other very subtly.
Well, I mean,
it's interesting to see.
You may shake hands, but I'm sure Phoebe would rather, instead of shaking the Rarebird Chris Phoenix's hand, would have liked to have instead taken those tag team championships away from Chris Phoenix and Hype Man Dan Lasers. Just saying.
I guess it just wasn't their night. I think it's a shame. I would have loved to have new champions. All respect to Cease and Desist. I have no issues with them.
And by the way, they're going to be on here in the month of February. The guys are going to be back on here. They're actually going to be here right before Valentine's Day. So I know,
that's awesome.
February 13th. And by the way, I know we're back in the WWF on Valentine's Day, and they'll be here the 13th of February, something like that. I'm sure no, it's actually not I don't know, whatever it is, but who knows? But they'll be here on the 13th of February. And hopefully people will celebrate. But yeah, we love Cease and Desist, but they remain on top. Speaking of them, by the way, that's a great segue before I get to the chat. Cease and Desist have a really interesting match coming up here. Now, I know they've battled the likes of Damnation. I certainly know they've had their issues with the draw for months. The collective is here. We know the back and forth here and in the WWF that they've had. But what do you make now of this test that they have coming up here in 13 days from now? From one, DB Rivera, a man I am sure you've heard quite a bit of, and one Bam Allen. I mean, I've seen some footage on Bam Allen, and I mean, this guy is another one of these guys that just seems like in the factory line of WVWF talents that are primed and poised to do big things. And I think this is a really intriguing match. This might be one of those show stealer type of matches, match of the nights. And what do you think happens there objectively?
I think Cease and Assist have a very big challenge on their hands. The challenge of the unknown. We obviously don't know that much about Bam Allen, but he has proven a lot in his short amount of time. I do know DB Rivera. I've seen a lot of his
been around. Yeah, I've seen him.
Yeah, incredibly, ridiculously talented. And I think him and Bam's styles and energy will mesh well. Given all four of them are more high octane, high flyers, that's going to be exciting. That's going to be one of those like don't blink matches.
Yeah,
it's going to be insane.
Don't go to the bathroom. Don't go somewhere outside for a cigarette break in the outside the Richardson building. Whatever you do, just pay attention very, very closely.
Yeah, people are going to be flying. We're going to see all kinds of crazy stuff. It's going to be great.
What do you think, though, about the experience edge that Cease and Desist has as a team together? We know what they've done these last 6 or 7 plus months as a team. They've got the WVWF Tag Team Championships, whereas DB Rivera and Bam Allen, they don't have that same experience. This is also DB Rivera's first match here in the WVWF, so clearly they're at a disadvantage here when it comes to the experience factor. What do you think about that here, and would that make the difference, you think?
It might. Tag team cohesion is a very, very tricky thing. We saw it with Phoebe and Godric. Those are two very talented stars individually, but as a team, unfortunately, I'm sorry, Phoebe, they couldn't do it. So that might be the biggest disadvantage DB and Bam have. But if you're Cease and Assist, there's no way for you to scout them. There's no way for you to see what you're getting into, whereas DB and Bam can. They know what kind of things to expect. So it does kind of go both ways.
No, that's a good point. We were talking last night here on Sportswire. We had a guy, Bane X, and he was talking about to prepare for his opponent. And he was saying, I'm going back and I'm watching all the footage. I'm going back and I'm scouting. But whereas conversely, Cease and Desist, the Rare Chris Phoenix and Hypeman Dan Lasers, they can't watch anything on DB Rivera and Bam Allen together because there's nothing on them. And on top of that, DB Rivera has never been here in the WVWF. I think this is such an intriguing match for those reasons.
Yeah, it is. There's so many things that could happen. And quite frankly, experience is very important, but all you need is that, those 3 seconds. That's all it takes to have new champion.
Not even your 5. 1, 2, 3. But I mean, I know, listen, Cease and Desist, I love watching them out there. I love seeing them here on Sportswire. They've been here now a bunch of times of late, but I really think this could be one of those where they got to be careful and they could get caught napping here because this is an unusual team. They bring a lot to the table. They're exciting. Bam Allen's a guy that provides a lot of offense, a lot of high octane offense. Like you said, DB Rivera has been around the block. Certain guys here in the chat know him. They've seen him in the ring. And this is one of these matches, I got to tell you, you could see an upset maybe.
See, I think you said something interesting there. If you're Cease and Desist, you're really high up there because you beat everybody.
Yeah,
you beat everybody all
in the competition here. Yeah, they said Friday they want competition.
Right, so they might be overlooking because they're so confident because they just beat everybody.
Yeah, but
slip-ups happen. Who knows?
I mean, listen, every dog has its day. My uncle used to famously say, every dog has its day. And this is a team that, and what a statement, right? DB Rivera, first match here in the WVWF to come away with a championship, a tag team championship, a coveted championship like this. I mean, what a statement that would be, right? For DB Rivera's first match here in the WVWF to walk away with one half of those WVWF tag team championships.
And if anybody could do it, it would be DB Rivera.
And maybe that's where he uses his experience to help Bam Allen and figure a way out to beat the Rare Bird Chris Phoenix and Hype Man Dan Lasers, I suppose.
Yeah.
That's an interesting point. That's a very interesting point. And also, conversely, we know we've talked a lot about cease and desist and how they've been focused on the situation with the draw, dealing with them, fighting against Wyatt Black, Aaron James, and everything there, the plan with Nate Steele. And maybe they're distracted. Maybe they're distracted from this draw versus Team WVWF battle that's been going on here for months. And a team like DB Rivera and Bam Allen, maybe it gives them that fighting chance, like I said, to walk away with their championships. I don't know.
See, that's just how powerful the draw is. Look at what they had. The only way they could take down the draw is by from within. Think about it.
That's a good point. No, listen, it's a good point, but it also shows you what cease and desist they've been able to do. They've been able to certainly come a long way in a short amount of time here in the WWF. You know, the other thing I wanted to ask you about when it comes to WWF, I'm going to get to the chat. I definitely want to get to everybody here, but there was an announcement yesterday, and we're going to have an over-the-top battle royal to determine the first ever King of the Mountain champion. And I think it's a really interesting twist because when it gets down to the final two, it's then going to turn into a one-on-one wrestling match. Really a unique situation. So what do you think there? Really, really interesting dynamic to already another action-packed show here, poetically titled New Heat.
I think that's an amazing way to introduce a new championship. I think it'll give a lot of guys an opportunity because we're going to see people that have never gotten an opportunity. You know, it took Nate Steele 10 years to win the Mountain State.
Yeah, a lot about that on Sportswire. Yep.
So I'm sure there are a lot of guys in the back that don't want to wait 10 years. So
I hope that number one may not be called if they're going to wait 10 years for the next over-the-top battle royal. I mean, Courtney. I mean, I know you say they've got to 5, but in that case, they may never. They may get a never.
That's why these matches are important, and that's why you have to make the most of every opportunity. You know, so that doesn't happen.
But that's a really interesting field that you could see. I mean, could you see collective members? Could you see cease and desist? Could you see draw members? I mean, could you see damnation? I mean, you could see people that are normally aligned with each other all of a sudden now because of the prize of being the first ever WVWF King of the Mountain champion. Now, all bets are off. And hey, listen, all is competition in love and war. And let's go out there and I have an opportunity to win some gold.
Well, we've seen the collective put away their personal feelings to battle for gold. So that's not a real big surprise. The 3,422 members of Damnation probably need gold. So like that's probably not an issue. The draw, however, given what happened with Nate Steele, they might be a little shaky, and if we see another member trying to go out for themselves, it might make the other ones look a little suspicious. So I don't know if that's the right move at this time. It's hard to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would love to see what happens with somebody like a Chemical Valley gunslinger, James Enoch, who just lost the hybrid championship, or a guy that I've seen on here, and I promise to get back on here very soon, Cody Maverick, if they would maybe be candidates for this. I mean, guys like that, I mean, this could be a huge opportunity for them. You know, you think about certainly the Chemical Valley gunslinger, an opportunity to get right back off the mat, and then, again, a guy like Cody Maverick, who has been knocking on the door time after time, and, I mean, who knows who will be in this, but, I mean, those are names to me right off the top of my head who aren't aligned with anybody. I mean, James Enoch, we know him losing the hybrid championship, and this is an opportunity for him to, like I said, pick himself up off the mat. And then again, a guy like Maverick, who again has been, you know, time after time, and you know, is waiting for that moment, and maybe that makes them perfect entrance to this. I don't know. I mean, we'll find out. We've got 13 days, and I'm sure we'll have some coverage before then that maybe we'll have some names to announce and talk about in Sportswire. I have no idea. And maybe you'll announce them, by the way. Maybe you'll announce them.
Maybe.
You
We'll
know,
see.
we're gonna. You know, I'll get to the chat. I want to talk about that introduction heard around the world, but let's get to the chat. I want to give you something. We'll go to some other things here. Speaking of people, Zilla is here first. Thank you, Zilla, very
Hi,
much for being
Zilla.
here. A very double header show on Sportswire. Tonight we'll be back on at 9:30, but first we're here with Courtney because it really was doing nothing the last 2 days. But Maverick is here on time, yes, and Maverick's a happy man, even though it's too late. But his Bengals won again. Too late, but hey, listen, they're on a winning streak. Maybe it'll save their coach's job. Who knows? Thank you. Speaking of people that you definitely know, a man that will be on here once again after Mon Valley has their latest show where he's been trying hard to get championship goals. Speaking of which, and the one and only Mr. Andrew Lovelace, who him and Hammer Time. I mean, obviously, I know you break out your dancing moves. I know we're not going to get you out those baggy shorts, those parachute pants like Hammer did, but maybe Max Hammer's got a few. He'll bring out in 2026. And I'm still on the side of the draw no matter what. Now you're on their side also, judging by your introduction, but there is certainly for the first time. But there is for the first time certainly maybe some fingers being pointed here. I mean, I think that's an objective point.
I mean, there kind of has to be when something like this happens. You know, you have to figure out why that happened and how to prevent it from happening again.
It's a great point. I mean, you obviously know how these things work, and Courtney also has an Instagram page, which I want to put up. We'll put the YouTube link up, but we'll also put up the Instagram page. So if you're on Instagram, go out there and give Courtney a follow. You know, I would give you all my followers on Instagram, but unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. They don't allow it. But what I can do is give you this to share my screen to give you a follow on Instagram. So yeah, you're 3 followers away from 100. So if you're here, go follow Courtney. She's at 97 followers. If you're on Instagram, even if you follow Courtney, go have a friend, tell their friend, and get her 100 followers. So thank you to everybody in advance. Let's get to some more comments. Speaking of people that you did call bully, you did call bully, and and that was obviously Day Jameson and Mr. Three Belts himself. And
I can't tell if he's excited or if he's yelling at me again.
We got more comments, so you're gonna have to find out. That's the beauty of reading the chat from the very beginning. Speaking of people, now I am so glad that he's here because I wanted to remind you in the way that I introduced you coming. Although we did announce you on Friday, but I had announced that since you're doing such a great job for introductions, that Cease and Desist, our WVWF Tag Team Champions, would love for you to introduce them when they come out for their match against DB Rivera and Bam Allen. And I have the footage also once again, because I was talking with the guys before we came on. I said, what a way to talk about this on Sportswire is to show your introduction, and everybody's talked about her around the world. And I would hope now this is the opportunity for you to tell us why you're going to introduce Cease and Desist coming up here on January 10th.
I'm scared to.
You did why you even.
How can I hype up the hype man? That's ridiculous.
You just do it. You just go out there and do it like there's no tomorrow. The hype man, Dan Lays, or something like that. You could do it. You got the pipes. You got Steel Panther in the background. Come on, you got it.
I can't do that energy, that vibe that they put out justice. Like I can't do it.
Oh, you can do it.
It's intimidating.
And now, obviously you did it here. You did it here. We'll speed it up.
All of these lights are on. Right,
you did it there. But you did it there.
The reason we are all here.
Come on. You can do it for them.
They are the Emperor Tony Sane, your WWF Mountain State Champion, the Outlaw Nate Steele, the longest reigning, most intelligent, and dominant champion in this entire state. He is Chaos Incarnate Aaron Goddamn James.
I'm not going to bleep that one out.
And unfortunately, we drew the short end of the stick in the annual Outlet
Boy, that sounds like that
He is
Facebook
for
post.
sure going to get nothing but coal for Christmas this year.
Boo.
He is an annoying nuisance that was never the hybrid champion. For whatever reason, he is the controversy king. Wyatt Black. Collectively known as the Draw.
Okay, you could do it for cease and desist. You did it there. You even did it for Wyatt Black.
See, thank you. I've actually gotten a little bit of heat from that. People had the nerve to say that I was biased. Me, bias. I
mean,
couldn't
you did say. Well, I mean, you did. I know you're always right, but you did say that the reason the lights are on in Parkersburg at 325 7th Street is because of the draw. But then you went off and talked about Wyatt Black, and
which was true too. Everything I said was factually correct. So how can I be biased if it's factually correct?
Well,
That
I would
makes no
say,
sense.
being, and you are obviously the best. You were the best at this, and I think that's why I was talking with the Rare Bird and the Hype Man. That's why they wanted that introduction for them on January 10th. Because I know even the Hype Man said, he didn't realize you were a fan of the draw, but it was hoping that he could get something from you. Even it doesn't have to be Hype Man Dan Lasers, but obviously doing what you did there and saying that they are certainly the team that comes in here and cease and desist their opponents. They're one of the teams that brings you the energy like nobody else, and that's why they're the reigning defending WVWF Tag Team Champions. Cease and desist is the Rare Bird Chris Phoenix, who's up for award for Breakout Wrestler of the Year in 2025, and the double champion himself, the Hype Man Dan Lasers, and the guys are also running it in the feud of the year. I mean, something like that. I'm sure you could come. You got 2 degrees.
There's all kinds of
You got 2
But no,
degrees.
I will say this about that intro. I was tired of the disrespect to the draw. And
I mean, they're great talents. I love the draw. I love having them here on Sportswire. I mean, they're great.
So I took matters into my own hands. I took the mic from Double L and I did it right. It was the holiday season. They deserved to be respected.
But you did say lump of coal for Wyatt Black. I mean, I would think with the holiday season, I mean, that would have. I mean, I don't know if I would have wanted to have said that with a lump of coal for him. I mean, it is the holiday season. Season's greetings.
Do you think that he didn't get lumps of coal for Christmas?
I didn't ask him that question because I didn't ask him that question last week because he was here prior to your introduction. So I could ask him when he comes back on Sportswire. I could ask him. I'd be happy to ask him.
With all of the bad things that he has done, with all
He
of
has said
the
a lot of
annoying
things. He has said. I will give you that. He has said a lot of things that his check would probably bounce from. But nevertheless, I mean, it is the holiday season.
No.
I hope that you do give that introduction to cease and desist, and I would really hope that you do that. I have some comments that I really hope I can read now. And Tafua is walking out and still 2-belt champion. I tell you what, you are right. Daniel Tafua is definitely a fighter. You talked about the Soul Taker, and he was just with Saraya yesterday. So I mean, I'm sure you heard about that.
How cool is that?
You know what? I mean, then somebody asked me, "When you bringing Saraya on Sportswire next?" I said, "When are you stealing my bank account?" And then they laughed and they said, "Okay, move on." I had somebody ask me, "When's Oasis coming on and when's Saraya coming on?" And I said, "Well, boy, people are really pushing their luck, but maybe I'll announce who's coming on later in the week. Maybe that'll get us closer. I'll do it because it's the holiday season." Hello to the Hype Man. Also, Daniel is thinking the mighty Lega will continue to speak the truth into him. There you go. There you go. There you go. We got more comments. I'll get to them. Speaking of people, there is Maverick, and he's a happy man right now. And marking out on your solo cup. Yes, I do like the solo cups because right now it's too cold for me to have a big gulp, and I just wanted to have a solo cup. So I appreciate that a lot. I need a lot of fluid this afternoon and evening. January 10th, we can have a live after party. I'm available. I mean, if that's if we want to do a post show, if somebody's got a video chat and they want to answer the link, the door's open. Maybe Mr. Maverick's not doing anything later in the week, next week. Maybe he's available next Thursday or Friday, and we can talk about his match coming up or whatever he'll be in. So let me know. We'll message each other. hit the sub button for Courtney so you can see more of her introductions, and hopefully she'll post some of them on here. So if you are out there, hit the sub button for her. Let me get to a comment and a good one by day. DB is great. I've had the opportunity to defend my USW Keystone State Championship against him, and he fought hard. I agree. DB Rivera is a really good competitor, and he brings a lot to the table. And I think it's a really good match, a really intriguing match here. And great job by the WWF by putting this together here. New heat and a new day is upon us because we're going to see cease and desist against Bam Allen and DB Rivera. Good job. Speaking of people that are in the house, our friends from the Indie Vision Network certainly wanted to be here and encourage you for that introduction, encourage you for more introductions ahead. And please hit the sub button for Courtney so she'll post more shorts of her introductions. And I posted it up here again. Thank you, Zilla, for saying hello. And speaking of people, not if I have anything to do with it. Well, I guess since you did hear on Friday's show that the Rare Bird Chris Phoenix wanted to enter into that battle royal for the first ever King of the Mountain champion. And you know, that's another interesting scenario. What if the hype man Dan Lasers and the Rare Bird Chris Phoenix were the final two participants? What if there?
Do you want my honest answer?
We're live in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage. I mean, you want me to give you a no answer?
No, I said honest.
We're live in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage.
I saw something there. I saw Chris Phoenix eyeing that Dan Lasers is a double champion. And I saw a tiny little bit of envy. I think if it did come down to Phoenix or Lasers, I think Phoenix would take it.
Well, Phoenix has a pinfall over Aaron James. And Phoenix has certainly come a long way in a short amount of time, but the hype man Dan Lasers is a double champion for a reason. He's been in there with somebody named Pepper Pride. So I mean, hype man Dan Lasers has certainly been around the block more than once. I mean, it could be a scenario that happens. I mean, that's a scenario that could very well be in front of us. And I would love to ask the guys when they come back on afterwards, what happens if that opportunity arose? Now, we don't know yet. We don't know. We still have 13 days. We don't know if that opportunity will present itself, but that is a very intriguing scenario. If the final two participants, or even if in that battle royal, let's say at the same time, hype man Dan Lasers and Chris Phoenix are there, and what if because a championship is in front of them that those two men say, you know what? Forget about partners. We're fighting for something else. And how about the hype man to be, well, a triple champion, hype man 3 belts? I mean, he's got that opportunity.
See, look at what you just did there. You talked about how good hype man is, 3 championships. People are already starting to overlook Phoenix. It's going to get to him. Look at how he watched Dan hold his 2 championships. There was something in his eye.
No, I think he was obvious. I think it's a team effort. And I think he saw that, you know what? It's the holiday season and looking what the hype man has, and he knows that he's going to fly his way also to more championships. I don't think he was about envy. I think it was an appreciation of his tag team partner, his best friend, his brother. And I think, and I know that the Rare Bird Chris Phoenix is certainly so proud to see his brother, like I said, and best friend, hype man Dan Lasers, with 2 championships. But there is that possibility with the hype man Dan Lasers to be, well, hype man 3 belts. I mean, boy, and he even said here on Sportswire, I mean, he may have so many championships that he's still got room, though, but he's still got just enough room for another one.
I think this is going to be one of those things where I'm proven right a couple months down the road.
Well, I mean, we'll have to stay tuned. I mean, I can only speculate.
Nobody wants to be overlooked. Nobody wants to be the weak link in their team. Nobody wants to be the Jannetty.
No, I think that's a major stretch compared. See what you just did. That's a major stretch by saying Phoenix is like Jannetty. Come on.
No, I said Phoenix doesn't want to be the Jannetty.
No, they're the tag team champions. They're the tag team champions. And still at the moment WWF Tag Team Champions. No, the guys, there is not that possible. We're not looking at a Marty Jannetty. We're not looking at a Jim Neidhart here. Come on, we're not going that.
Do not twist my words. I never said that he was. I said that he doesn't want to be, and he's going to do what he
he's
thinks
not.
he can be.
And he's held singles gold. Right? And listen, the Rare Bird has held singles gold before, so it's not as if he hasn't. So he knows. The Rare Bird knows. And it is that season where the birds fly, and he's going to migrate his way to more championship gold if that opportunity presents itself. And if you are here on Instagram, go follow Courtney and give her another follow. Also here, no hate, all love and chaos.
Yeah. Where was that attitude when you were calling me a bully? Who was right, Day? Who was right? You should have listened.
No, I think Day definitely listened. They're listening. You know what? And I keep reminding you, at least he didn't do a Facebook Live about you calling him a bully. You could have did that.
Then he would have had to do a retraction, wouldn't he?
But no,
he would have had to do a second one.
No, he would have had a lot of people talking, and he didn't do that. He was gentlemanly. He was in the holiday spirit. He actually, for once, you could say what you want about Day, but he was in the holiday spirit. He was. I even backed him up last time he was here on Sports, but I even said, no, I know Day Jameson. As a matter of fact, this is the 1 year anniversary. This day, not date, but this day is the 1 year anniversary of Day Jameson's first appearance on Sportswire. It was 1 year ago today. He was in this chair, and now you're in this chair. And he is a gentleman, Day Jameson. I know people say things about him. I know this man. And I'm telling you, he could have said so much worse, but he didn't. He didn't.
No, he said the exact right thing to, cut me deep because he knows how much his opinion matters to me. And he tried to make me look like I was the bad guy. Well,
he was honest. And speaking of people that are always honest,
let me ask you a question, Tom.
You ask me anything.
You said he's been on here for a year. Who else have you had on your show that has spoken more highly of Day Jameson than myself?
That guy.
That's fair.
I was ready for that. I would say you, Ampo, and I would throw although I would say this with an asterisk because he says nice things about everybody. Godric Sandwell.
Oh well, yeah, that's not fair.
I mean, I would say Godric Sandwell because he does say nice things about everybody, even Phoebe Harper. But we'll find out next Tuesday.
Even Phoebe Harper?
Well, Godric Sandwell. From Godric Sandwell's perspective, I mean, we were trying to figure it out. I mean, I think Phoebe's a fantastic competitor. I love every competitor out there in the ring. I'm a Brittany Storm and Riku St. Helen fan all the way. I mean, some people may not be, but I'm all wrestling. I support all my wrestlers out there. I want to make that clear. I mean, I'm not other people out there. Whatever it may be. God bless America. But nevertheless, I mean, you have said a lot of great things about Day. But I mean, Ampo has too, and also Godric Sandwell. Although Godric,
the first time I was ever on Sportswire was to talk about Day being injured and almost killed.
Yes, by an individual. Yes.
I have supported him more than anybody.
Well, he was obviously sharing his feelings, and I mean, his feelings were hurt.
My feelings were hurt.
Well, his was hurt.
I've known Day for years. That really hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
But, there's just something about always being right that just makes you feel better.
This year, like Bing Crosby. I hope you had a white Christmas.
I did. It was very nice.
I'm glad. That's why I'm going to move away from this. And Ampo is here, and all the way from Tokyo right now. I'm so thankful that Ampo has come here all the way from Tokyo. That's why we love Ampo. We don't want Hopefully the food's treating you well and the weather's treating you well. And yes, how was the holidays in Japan? See, he's plotting and planning, especially after some of the things you said. Ampo is a reminder what Courtney said about Brittany Storm. I mean, was obviously, that maybe Courtney's going to give her some more advice. I just want to remind you about that. And he's plotting and planning.
Just saying.
All right. Well, I'm just saying there's more comments. We hate the draw because they don't draw. But,
Oh, really? They don't. Question. If that were true, why is the next show absolutely free?
Well, actually, no, I have an answer to that because they got to 1,000 followers of WVWF on Facebook, and that's how you can follow the WVWF.
And how do you get so popular? With a draw.
Well, you gotta like on Facebook. Give a like to the WWF on Facebook.
Yeah. Why did so many people like it? Because of the draw.
Yeah, I mean, I love the collective and the draw. I collectively want to draw more people to the WVWF.
Just saying.
I walked right into that. Hello. Stop lying, Tom. We all know the draw sucks and can't even draw a circle. You know, I can draw a square. I can draw a square.
That's a lot of attitude from a guy that got slapped by Brittany Storm. Just saying.
Hey, it's a holiday season. I mean, I'm trying to be in a holidays.
It made my holiday. I'm just saying.
That's not true. We love the collective, and we collectively want to get to more comments. Speaking of people that have championship gold and MVP, the WVWF needs new people. Maybe I'll show up, maybe not. What do you think about that?
A lot of people are in trouble if Sawyer shows up.
Oh, you know who would be in big trouble? You know who would be in big trouble? Godric Sanwell. Godric Sanwell is not a big fan of RK Sawyer. Last appearance on Sportswire, I showed what RK Sawyer was doing out there in the ring to one Godric Sanwell.
That is a very, very scary prospect. Very glad I'm not a competitor if that's something that's going to happen.
You wouldn't be counting to 5 if you see RK out there, just saying.
No, I would leave immediately. And unfortunately, I don't think Lilith would let me.
Well, I mean, we're going to go say, Day Jameson, why do you think that Courtney Wood bullies you? I'm sure we'll have more comments. Stay tuned. Everyone seems to have plans for the WVWF. LOL. I have a feeling unrest is in the future. Unrest.
See, WVWF has a lot of plans for this next year, and we're seeing it with their first show. You know,
I'm excited about it. I'll tell you what, I was talking to you off the air. I mean, I am really fired up. This is the most I've been really fired up, not just toward any WWF show, but any indie wrestling show in a while. Just, I mean, like so much to talk about with the draw. And now the WWF, the tag title match, Daniel Tafua being in action, this whole situation with Phoebe Harper, the battle royal now for the first ever King of the Mountain championship. I mean, there's a lot really to me that it just, you'd want to be there. I mean, you got to be there, and it's free coming up here on January 10th.
Lots of new faces, a new championship. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on. We're very determined to make this the biggest year yet.
And it's going to be the biggest year. It's going to be the best that is yet to come, and people's got to stop hating on the draw. No, they are all bullies. I mean, Wyatt Black has walked into those comments in the past. I mean, to be fair.
He's not powerful enough to be a bully. He's just an annoying little gnat. He's a nuisance. If you get bullied by Wyatt Black, you deserve it.
Well, I mean, Riku St. Helen eventually fought back. I mean, so touche.
Yeah, and Riku won. Riku beat the brakes off of that kid.
Well, I mean, he's a man now. He's technically he's 18 now. 18 in life. I mean, you know. I hate bullies. See what I mean? Yeah, all right. Yeah, DM me after the show. Yeah, we'll have him on before the 10th. It'll be that Thursday or Friday. So I'm looking forward to that, and we're excited to see him back on. Hopefully, Chris isn't getting the jealous itch. Cease and desist has more to do. They do have more to do, but they got a tough test here. They have a very tough test coming up here.
Future Courtney in a couple months is going to be so happy when she gets to say, I told you so again.
So we'll be on here, you're saying, hopefully in a warmer climate here in the Northeast, saying that you were right once again when it came to cease and desist.
Yeah, you can stitch this clip and we can replay it again in a couple months, and I'm just going to sit here like...
Or maybe they'll still be the WVWF Tag Team Champions, and all is fair and love and war, and everybody's happy.
That would be amazing. We've gotten to see what Cease and Desist can do as a team. It's been amazing. They've gelled. They put on amazing matches.
That's fun to watch.
I don't want it to happen. I'm just saying what I think is going to.
But we don't know. That's the beauty of what's ahead here coming up, and that's the beauty of what's ahead here, and that would be hype man. Yeah, 3 belts. That would be hype man. Thank you for that, um, Kevin. I guess it is Kevin from Rain Crew. I don't think it's anyone else. And Day is the only 3 belt champion. That is true. He is definitely the one and only. And yeah, see, you did bring it up. You did refer to him as Marty Jannetty. I mean, that's some fighting words there.
I did not. I said he doesn't want to be. Nobody wants to be the Jannetty in their team. I never said that he was.
Well, I mean,
That
Courtney storming in. Was Courtney storming off this episode of Sportswire? I was like, boy, Courtney, you're like my guest yesterday who came on, Riley Bates, and just stormed off the set. I mean, I really hope you stay with us. You got a lot of people here watching you, actually. You got a lot of people in the chat.
I would not disrespect Chris Phoenix like that. I would
not. He's a rare bird. I mean, I really we don't want to put him on the endangered species list. Come on.
No, we
Andrew Loveless. And did you see on Friday's episode, Andrew Loveless was talking about animal cruelty there. I mean, come on. We don't want to put animal cruelty. I mean, listen, I've rescued pets before in the past too. I mean, let's not keep it to 3. I mean, come on. And thank you. And obviously, Mrs. Maverick, I think, is here. Let's just put it that way. Doing the footage together.
My fellow Courtney. Yes. Hi, Courtney.
And I'm going to say that both of you are great. I'm not going to pick one over the other.
Oh, she is the best. She is so nice.
I love her so much. We're going to say tie goes to both of you. Courtney wins. We know we love you. And not the Facebook Live. See what I mean? And you are still a bully sometimes. See? Sometimes. Happy holidays.
You still don't learn, Day.
No, he's learned. He's come a long way. He's got 3 championship belts. I mean, he's wrestling all over the place. He didn't do a Facebook Live about you.
Again, that's a lot of tough talk from a guy that got dropped by Brittany Storm.
But
she left him in the ring with an X Factor.
But you know what? He's the one that still got 3 championship belts.
That's true.
You know what? And he's the one that goes home with that. And while we have a lot of people here on the chat, you know what? You certainly you're drawing views. I mean, so Courtney, you're the draw tonight. You're the draw. Get it? Courtney has an Instagram and YouTube channel, and give her a sub on YouTube because we're trying to get her to do more introductions in the WWF. So maybe if you sub and watch her shorts, maybe that'll actually increase her chances of having to do more of these intros. So give it to her, and she's awesome, and we're having a lot of fun. So we'll keep the fun going. And also, who else is in the house? A year. Time flies. It was a year ago. Yeah, Dave Jameson came on, and then who interrupted him? Another name you probably heard of, Thomas Taft, Mr. T3.
Oh, that guy. Talented, but you do not want to cross him. You never know what you're getting with him.
I just spoke to Thomas Taft not too long ago, so we are looking forward to Thomas coming on to Sportswire once again. And Thomas has been a longtime friend of mine. So yeah, Thomas Taft is also right now not in a good mood because the Steelers lost to the Browns there, and it was a really horrific performance there. So yeah, let's not cross him because the Steelers now have to win next week. Yes, follow the Indie Vision Network, and Chris and I are solid. See, there you go. There you go. Thank you. We appreciate that. Speaking of people that'll be on here later tonight, our friends in YBW who apparently have a family connection to the rare bird Chris Phoenix, and we will be there later on. Thank you very much, and thank you to the headline Aaron Blaze. I draw better pictures than them. I mean, he might be a better draw than them. Might draw, but he might be a good draw. I mean,
everybody knows you're talented. Why would that even what?
But he is talking about his drawing skills. He's talking about his drawing skills. Not talking about anything else. He's talking about his drawing skills. I mean, he's a very good artist, and I know on Sportswire, Dave Jameson is a really good draw. He's a big draw in Sportswire.
He is.
Yeah. Hello to Aaron. Yes, we're looking forward to seeing Aaron on here later, and please follow the guys in YBW. We appreciate that. They got popular because of me, because of our group in caps locks.
That's just not true. That's just not true. I mean, Aaron James is already the champion. You have Wyatt Black, who you can't escape him. He's just always there, drawing attention to himself. You had Tony Sane, who has been one of the most consistently improving, whatever term you want to use, green, newcomers,
upstart. Yep, young upstart.
Yeah, upstart, whatever.
You're welcome.
No, that's just not true, Day.
I mean, look, obviously, there are opinions, and everyone, has their different opinions. But Lilith broke a kendo caps locks over my back. Also, the collective's unofficial new nickname is 1K views or better. When we speak, people listen. I'll tell you what, when the collective do come on Sportswire, people tune in. I got to be honest, people do tune into them. When they come on here, you listen and you watch the clip on Instagram, you watch the clip on Facebook. That's also a part of it. Clips on social media. When I talk about the collective, they definitely collectively go up. They do collectively go up. They go up.
Oh, yeah. They're very entertaining. You never know what they're going to do.
That's why people like them. They like them inside the ring and outside the ring. But the Rare Bird is back. And both factual. Give Courtney a sub on YouTube, and also hello to Blaze the Bingo Hall. Blaze the Bingo Hall is interviewed to different people. Have you gone on Blaze's show yet?
No.
You should go on it. He's an interesting fellow. He actually watches the show. He's from West Virginia, by the way. But he's from the other side. He goes to the WDWA shows out there. So he's interviewed a bunch of people. Some big names. Yeah, I'll upload his YouTube link in a minute. And speaking of people that are back here next Tuesday, the one and only Godric Sandwell. Obviously, you're a big fan of his, a man you've had a chance to sit side by side many times at many different shows, and he wanted to say hello.
Hi, Mr. Sandwell.
He's in the Martinsburg area, so yeah, he's in the Martinsburg area. You guys
It's hard to keep up with where he's at. He's always somewhere.
Well, Blaze the Bingo Hole is a great guy, and he has interviewed a lot of great people out there in all of wrestling, including one Ace Christian, who's back on here on Friday. And if you want to go on his show, he does a lot better job than I do. He's a lot more professional. He's a lot more takes his time with his interviews, and he doesn't give you the over the top introduction. He doesn't need him because he's definitely a knowledgeable guy. His dad was a pro wrestler, so. Give him a sub, and I think Dave Jameson would be a great guest, and I think the collective would be a great guest. Godric Sam will be a great guest, and Courtney would be a great guest because she would tell Blaze the Bingo Hole why she's right about everything in wrestling, and that's why Blaze the Bingo Hole is probably going to be her next stop, and this is her last stop on sports right now. I'm kidding. I was kidding. I was really kidding. But I was trying to make you laugh. I was trying to do that. But obviously, I know we're coming near toward our end here on this segment. I do want to give you something, but I understand I didn't get a chance to talk to you about this. But you had done a review on a documentary about a man that I interviewed, and some guy named Raven. And what did you think of the documentary?
I loved it. Honestly, I thought it was so honest and raw. It was a lot of the ECW guys telling their story, blemishes and all. They were just being honest about what they've been through, and I really enjoyed it. I couldn't imagine how crazy it sounded to people that weren't wrestling fans.
Yeah, it was a really interesting journey there that we were taking on, and seeing what happened with. The one story in the bedroom where the Sandman, they thought he was dead, and he showed up to the arena, and Raven, and basically he lived the gimmick, and then his issue with his father, who was the editor of the National Enquirer, and didn't tell him he loved him, and then Raven in his own personal life. Yeah, it was a really interesting journey, and the man came on Sportswire. He came on here to talk about that.
Yeah, I loved it. And to be able to just even write about that is so cool. Because Raven was always somebody that was very interesting.
He was. He was a very interesting fellow. I wish
Ahead of
he
his
was.
time. You talk about guys like Bray Wyatt and stuff, but Raven was one of the first to do those kinds of things.
Yeah, he was
To
definitely the first. Yeah.
slow down, the when he spoke, you listened.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I had Sick Boy on here. Sick Boy talked a lot about Raven and kind of he led by example. He didn't tell you much, but the way he conducted himself was the way that you wanted to lead and follow. And yeah, he was definitely an innovator. There's no question that wrestling today, the Attitude Era, definitely owes a lot toward Raven and his success, and obviously some of the storylines in the documentary was talked a lot about that were advanced, and the whole thing with Sandman and Raven and his son turning on him, and then Tommy Dreamer, which ultimately led to him while marrying his wife. And I mean, it was a really fascinating documentary. And I had the guy that also directed the film was also here on Sportswire. Jordy Day was on here. We had him on, and Raven. We got a package deal, and yeah, that's why you need to go and follow Courtney on ProWrestlingWire.net. Before I let you go, I got to ask you about another thing you wrote about, which we talked a lot about on Sportswire recently, which was this tremendous job, despite some of the things that you may have said about the collective tonight, is your write-up about the collective themselves. And boy, it was right before what happened with Brittany Storm, but obviously just wanted to share it.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that your response was, "I can't believe she said nice things about Brittany Storm."
I did.
And
I think you were showing your unbiasedness and incredible work as a journalist. I mean, as a broadcast journalist.
see, I'm a professional. I enjoy taking on challenges, and it was nice to write a little bit of fiction for once. So,
Oh. Well, I mean, look, this was just days before what happened with the collective, but you did write some nice things about Brittany Storm, and then it all went out the window. Went out the window. I mean, what can I
well,
say? And
that was such a cool challenge, though, because there were 7 people I got to talk about in total
yep.
and piece together their story and figure out how to lay it out and to go back, because I was going back to 2020.
You go back to COVID. You go back to the COVID era.
So it was extensive.
It's a lot of history. You're talking about names that you certainly despise, like worldwide. William Renee, who famously compared himself to Kobe Bryant here on Sportswire. R.K. Sawyer was mentioned in there. I mean, obviously, Brittany Storm, who you obviously have a checkered past with, to say the least. There was a lot of names, a lot of history.
I'm gonna have to reach out to our graphic team and see if we can get that gray and black and white filter over Brittany and put her up in the back.
Nah, look, she's a part of the history. Look, she's a part of the history. At that moment,
so is Sawyer and so is Will, but they're no longer members. So
it was written. See, I would say this: at the moment it was written, though, Brittany Storm was collective, so that's why it works.
I suppose
it worked at that moment, but it's quite a history, and they've had a lot of success, and there's no question that I think there's a lot more success ahead. Will remain to be seen on what happens with the likes of Brittany Storm in the group. We know that Ampo is plotting and planning. We know the Banana Man Lestat is on his usual way and eating bananas and making his opponent slip on those banana peels as we speak. Day is here. Day has been his usual self. And Daniel Tafura is obviously, he's out there doing what he usually does best. And Thomas Taft was not in the collective, but Thomas Taft will be on Sportswire in 2026 alongside the Street Stompers, who also had their issues with William Renee and also the collective. So you'll see, I'm sure, more of those guys, and we love to see more from them in the future. So obviously those are great things. But before we get ready to close the show, I did want to give you something, and I know that the holidays have just passed, but I wanted to do this because once again I wanted to put you in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame for your influence in wrestling.
Oh, it's so cool.
I want to,
Thank
I know
you.
despite some of the things you said about Wyatt Black and Brittany Storm, I decided to overlook them. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I was trying to be funny, but no, we wanted to give you this. We want putting you in the Hall of Fame once again, and for your influence in wrestling, especially for what you do and your commitment and all the sacrifices you made, your knowledge, your writing, just everything you've done for our sport of wrestling. I wanted to give this to you once again, and I hope that you'll take it. And we hope that you'll come back on here, despite some of the things that may have transpired about Dave Jameson, Brittany Storm, and Wyatt Black.
Well, I'm gonna have to because you need people on here speaking the truth. Or
I
these false narratives are gonna get out there.
That may be other places that you may have been on, or other places that may not have known as much about what we do here at this level of wrestling, but I'm going to leave those things to that. But I mean, we certainly hope that we can give this to you, and I know that we'll see you here in 2026. And I know you were busy yesterday at the WWE Holiday Tour, and I see that you know Mr. Rick Del Santo, and I just realized he watched my stuff on TikTok, and we share a common guest on Sportswire, which is none other than the one and only Jumpin' Jim Brunzell. But before we get to closing thoughts, since I'm in a holiday mood, I'm in a Festivus-like spirit, especially with Christmas just passing, and we're on our way to New Year's, and coming up here on New Year's Day, we will have on this guy that he played for someone that a lot of people have heard of, named Ozzy Osbourne. He was the guitarist for Ozzy Osbourne, and he's got a couple things he wants to say, and I've decided to give him an opportunity, even though I know you're going to give us to 5 for the announcement. We're going to bring on here on New Year's Day the one and only former guitarist of Ozzy Osbourne himself, the Prince of Darkness, Mr. Gus G. So, Mr. Gus G, Gus G, yes.
Holy that is, oh my God. My best friend is going to lose his mind. He is a big fan of Gus G.
Yeah, well, Gus G is going to be here on Sportswire, and he has the link. We're going to be recording it. We'll be on New Year. I decided to do it for New Year's Day. We'll do it that evening. I'll probably air it around 7 o'clock or so, give or take. And yeah, Gus G is going to be on Sportswire, and he's going to talk about, obviously, playing with that guy, the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne, his own band, Firewind. He's got a new record. It's going to come out next year, and he's going to talk about playing with some other big names. And he just did a couple of shows with this guy, David Ellefson, that I had on here on Sportswire. So a lot of mutual connections, and apparently Mr. Gus has decided that he'd like to come here after hearing you've been on here a few times. No, seriously. No, it's true.
Yeah, I'm sure.
No, it's true. I really do submit my information. They no, you're definitely a part of it. No, listen, you're definitely a part of it. So yeah, happy holidays.
That is so cool.
Yeah, that's a good one. Now, Gus is a great guitar player, and he's got a lot to talk about, and I'm excited about this one. I was really working on this for a long time, and I didn't think it was going to happen. So it's going to happen, and you'll hear it on New Year's Day. So hopefully you'll move some of your New Year's plans. Well, it's in the evening. If you're hungover, you'll get over it by the time it airs. So at that point, you'll watch it on Sportswire. So yeah, we're excited about that. But anything else you want to say before closing thoughts? Anything else you want to say to the world why you've been right on everything all this time?
Oh, I don't know why I'm always right. I just am. Like if I had an explanation, I would give it so that I wouldn't have to constantly defend myself. But no, I'm always right. People should listen more. 2026 is going to be a huge year for WVWF.
I agree about
that. Hopefully it does a lot for the indie wrestling community in general. We're going to see a lot of new faces, lots of interesting matchups. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to write as much as I can, and that's pretty much it. I'm really happy for you getting Gus G and stuff like that. That's awesome.
That's a cool one. Now, Gus G, that's a really I mean, it's a great honor to have had him. In all seriousness, I know we have fun on But no, it's a great honor to have.
That is a big deal.
No, it's, I don't think I can say the same jokes we say on some of these shows. No, in all seriousness, it's a tremendous honor, and I'd like to thank all the wrestlers that come on here, yourself and all the independent wrestling companies that are a part of Sportswire, because I wouldn't be here without them. Actually, I want to give one more shout out before I get to closing thoughts. My buddy Angel Perez, who messaged me on LinkedIn. I haven't seen him in, I don't know, since we're in high school, almost like 20 years. And he said, I've been watching your interviews. I seen who you had. And he was like really blown away about, some of the people I've had on Sportswire. And, like I said, I went to high school. Well, no, my friends went to high school, but we hung out during high school. So yeah, kind of is the same thing. And I promised I'd give him a shout out. And he was like, I don't watch wrestling, but I watch these shows you do with these intros. And it was like, I can't believe it. And I was telling him he's a big heavy metal, because in school I was a heavy metal fan, obviously. And he was like, wow, I can't believe it. The bands we talked about, you've had them on. I said, yeah, it's all because of you 20 years ago, Angel. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, it was just luck of the draw. Who knew? But no, I want to give him a big shout out because he just randomly messaged me on LinkedIn. I noticed I had a network connection. I don't know if you're on LinkedIn or not. And I have all these connections, and most of them are from politics, but actually this one, and I recognize the face. And I'm like, wait a minute. I know him. I know him from Fort Hamilton High School and here in Brooklyn, and all those years ago, hanging out at our friend, Chris Perez's house, who also ran into me on the street and said the same thing. I haven't seen him in 15 years, and here you go. And just, you never know who you touch out there. Thank you for your support. Thank you for all you do for the wrestling community. And we'll make sure you get the physical copy when we're off the air. And I'm going to pass the baton to you, and you'll tell us once again why you're always right. And any other closing thoughts? So the floor is yours.
No, I think we covered it. Thank you for letting me come on here and.
Oh, stop it! By the way, you're welcome. 3 new subscribers today. You're welcome.
Awesome.
You'll be doing more shorts. See, I knew I was going to get you more subs because I had a feeling that means you'll have to do more shorts with the intros, and you got 3 more subs. You got 3 more tonight. How about that?
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, you're going to get more because you'll come back on more often. So, yeah, we love having you on. We love everything you do for our sport. And read some of your content. Read it coming up. And maybe she'll do a Britney Storm article next. And, maybe, okay, I'm pushing the luck tonight. Okay, I'm pushing my luck. Yeah, I'm definitely pushing my luck. Yeah, I got that. I pushed my luck enough already. Gus G is coming on Sportswire. But nevertheless, Courtney Wood's been on here before Gus G, and that's why she's going in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame once again. And follow her on Instagram. I would really appreciate that very much. You can check out some of her content, some of the other things that she brings to the table. And my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally, with all music and all sports and all wrestling matters. I'll be here at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time with the guy you saw in the chat, Aaron Blaze, and some others of YBW. And they have a connection, believe it or not, because one of the wrestlers there, Magnum Carter, is related to the Rarebird Chris Phoenix. Who would have guessed? Wrestling's a small world. But thank you, everybody, here for tuning in. If you are here before the year is out, I hope you have a happy new year. Be safe out there on the roads and enjoy. And I hope you catch my interview on New Year's Day with the one and only Gus G. And also, I hope you've enjoyed your Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. 3 Kings Day is coming up, so enjoy them all. And until then, I'll see everybody in a little while. And Courtney, thank you for all you do for our sport. And we'll see you soon here coming up. All right. Well, at this point, okay, Courtney, I was waiting for you to say something big, but that's okay. You're out of breath. You're out of words. You're saving that intro for January.
I thought you were going to cut off. I honestly did. But thank you.
She's saving that for January 10th intro of Cease and Desist. We're going to cease and desist this episode of Sportswire Radio. We're going to come back on here in a couple of hours. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryson. Thank you, Zilla, for saving the day. And she definitely earned it. And she'll earn more introductions and more Hall of Fame nominations. And until then, we'll see everybody in a little while on Sportswire Radio. And hit the sub button for Courtney. And